Right now, you're always dressed well too. Where do you get your clothes? Because I don't know how a big guy like you could actually fit in such. You always have designer clothes on. You always look like you pick your outfits out to match.
It just, I take my time because number one, it's impossible, or it used to be impossible for me to go to the mall and get anything. I would always have to go get the relaxed fit or the baggy fit and get them like, 3 sizes too big, and then go get the waist taken in and all that. But recently I found this place called K&G. They have big and tall, and actually Sean John has some wide leg slacks that they make 100% wool. Really nice slacks, $50.
You get them off the rack?
I got every color. Yeah, actually, I can probably get them all to the fit perfect, but the fact that I can actually pull them up and get them on my legs, and I can actually wear my belt without, bunching them all up, looking all crazy. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted it to be like custom, it'd just be, maybe a half inch in the length and maybe an inch in the waist. But normally I had to get like 6-7 inches in the waist. To get them to fit.
You sure the rear pockets aren't touching each other by the time they take your waist in?
I had this one lady who could make it look right, but yes. But if it wasn't for her, then the pockets would be touching. Or I don't even know what I would do. I would just wear, that's why most really big bodybuilders just wear baggy clothes and sweatshirts all the time.
Yeah.
That's all they can fit.
Yeah.
That's all they can wear.
You make a concerted effort, though, to dress yourself, and I think that's why people command a little more respect from you, maybe.
Well, you gotta, the thing about us, like in football, they wear the uniform and the helmets and stuff, so we don't really get to see their faces. In our sport, we're down to our skivvies.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you know what I'm saying, you can see the person, and if they're in shape, if they're out of shape. So when we're not on stage, you kind of got to give them something else. And that's why I kind of like to, put on the nice clothes, and that way you're complete. You're not just, a meathead. You're kind of more balanced, and people are attracted to that.
Do people come up to you in stores and stuff like that and try to have you ever been offered movie parts or anything like that, or commercial work, or because you do stand out when people see you, they think that you're someone important. I can see that.
I had a lot of movie industry people come up to me at the booth in LA this past weekend, so I'm making some connections that way. But right now I'm actually reading for a part in this movie called Justice Night. I just got my the second act that's where my character is, and I did, the one movie I did in the summer called Parked. So I'm starting to head that direction. I really enjoy acting. I met a guy, the guy who's writing Justice Nights. I met him in the Best Buy, and he said, I'm writing this movie, and I got this character. You'll be perfect for him. So he wrote me into the movie, and then he actually got me written into part 2 as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Does the idea of getting behind a camera like that make you nervous at all, since it's something like you haven't really done too much of?
Well, I took drama all through high school. I can't say I had acting experience, but I've had experience being in plays and rehearsing lines and stuff like that, and being in front of, live people. And then, being on stage as a bodybuilder, you have to perform. I guess you don't have to, but if you want to be successful, if you want to have fans, you have to learn how to perform, and you have to learn how to control your emotions. You know how to turn it on and turn it off. So, I'm not saying I'm a great actor or anything, but I know that there's a lot of guys out there doing it, and if they can do it, I can do it. That's pretty much my attitude.
Well, that's the right attitude to have. People, I've been on movie sets. Obviously, people don't realize a lot of times also when the movies are filmed in sequence. They're not filmed like the whole thing in one shot. So it doesn't.
They usually do the end first, and then go to the beginning. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so you don't have to remember the whole script. But although I'm terrible with memory, I sometimes see some of these scenes with these guys speaking 25, 30 lines at a time. I don't know how these guys actually can possibly remember all the lines. But I guess
it was crazy when I did that movie Parked. He sent me. I had a pretty good significant part. And so he sent me the script, and he said, well, the first day we shoot, we're going to do these pages right here. So he gave me 4 or 5 pages, and I had, 10 lines to do. So I'm reading and studying and reading, and I go to the set, and then he's like, oh, bro, I'm sorry, we're not doing that, we're doing this. doing this scene, and I'm just like, well, I haven't even looked at that scene yet. So I was basically ready to go home. I was like, I don't know what to do. He said, no, you'll be fine. Just read over it, and, blah, blah, blah. So I read over it, and it was a scene where I'm a thug boss, and I'm coming to the club to collect money from the club owner who owes me money. And I'm like, well, I mean, I think I've been in that situation a time or two before, so I think I can do it. So I did it, and I nailed it, and everybody was tripping. It was like, wow, dude, that was really good. So from that moment, I was just like really hooked. I was like, I think I found my new passion, my new, thing to interested in, the thing to drive me to, keep getting better and better at something.
So you like the acting then? That's good. That's
I actually love it. It was really, really cool.
Now, did you grow up in a tough neighborhood? You said you had some experience with that.
Well, just through life experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I worked in the clubs. Dave, I've been around the block a few times, brother. So,
you danced in the clubs too. We've talked about that. Yeah.
I mean, I was the bodyguard. Back in the late 90s, late 80s, early 90s, Atlanta was like, one of the drug capitals of the nation. And it was tons of kingpins, these millionaire drug dealers in Atlanta, and they used to come in the club that I worked in all the time. So I used to be security for those guys. So I've seen I knew a lot of multimillionaire drug dealers. So,
that's interesting. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Atlanta, like from 88 to 87 to 92, crazy. Club 112, people listening, they probably been there. They know what's up. Be off the chain, off the Richter.
It's funny how times change, so drastically.
Man, it's like a grocery store now. They've changed the whole area of Buckhead. They revitalized the whole thing. It's all office buildings. It's like ancient history over there. Like it never existed. So.
Talk to me a little bit about, we got some, you're going to be competing a little later in the year. I know usually you compete all throughout the year. You this year limited it to the second half of the year. I think, what are you going to do? The first show is going to be in June?
Yeah, I wanted to just focus on my business and focus on, I did 9 shows, and that takes a toll on your body. So I just want to make sure that, I get top up all my, and when your metabolism runs fast like that, you end up burning through a lot of vitamins and minerals and enzymes and fatty acids. So I just want to take time to let my body rebuild all that stuff back up before I start dieting again. So June, Toronto Pro Show looks good, and then Chicago in July. And then I'll see after that. I'd like to do a few shows, but I'm going to see just how those first 2 go and take it from there.
Do you like the new rules where you have to win a show to qualify for the Olympia? I mean, because you've obviously every year you pretty much won a show, so for you it's probably not that bad. But do you like the idea that they're making it more selective?
Well, I definitely feel like the elite should only be on the stage, and not taking nothing against anybody else, but I'm saying after around 10, 12, it starts thinning out as far as the interest. So, maybe cut it off at 15. But, there's 16 pro shows. So if you take away the guys who qualify at the O and the guys who qualify at the Arnold, so you have to win. So that leaves, maybe 14 more guys besides the guys that qualify. And then some of those guys are going to do some of those shows. That's going to take it down another few places. So we're going to get to have that number of the top 10 to 15 elite guys on stage. And then I feel like everyone should be able to, we should be able to compare everyone and then really put everybody, then it'll be a better show for everybody. I think, in theory, hopefully.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. I think that really at the Olympia level, no one really cares about the guys who play. Actually, at any show, no one cares about the guys who plays 8th place and down. Usually it's like, all right, get them off the stage. We want to see these top 7 or 8 guys compared to see who looks the best. And, really at the Olympia, it's the elite of the elite. So you should really only have 10 or 12 guys to begin with. And so this is probably a good thing, because it's going to be less expensive for them to fly all these people in. You're going to have more time to compare the people. And I hear they're going to be, you said they're going to be giving more prize money, I think, too, right?
Well, it frees up more prize money. What they do with it, we'll see. But Robin said that was the number one objective. If you save like $90,000, if there's like 10 less people in the show or something like that, then he said they would put that towards the prize money first. So I'm like, well, I mean, that can only be good.
Yeah.
As long as they don't give it all to the first place dude.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But
that would be silly to do that. Now, you and I also talked off camera a little bit, and I like this idea. You had this idea to possibly, make bodybuilding almost like, the auto racing industry, like a point system. Tell me about that a little bit.
Golf, NASCAR, all the sports like ours, which basically are individuals, and you might have a team. We have gurus and sponsors and stuff. So, but the point system, you get X amount of points for a victory, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe, and then it totals up over the year, and that's how you're ranked. And then when you get to the Olympia, according to your rank, that's how the call out should be. And then it's a real battle. It's a real fight. People have earned their position. And not saying the guys not earned, but you know what I'm saying? People have put in the work. They've done the shows. They got their points, and no one can take them away from it. Then it's more, I think it gives people more incentive to do better, do more shows, get the points. I mean, if they throw some of this extra prize money on, if you reach a certain amount of points or something, I don't know. It's all kind of ways to make it interesting. But the thing about, golf, very few people followed golf back in the day. Now they got stadiums.
Right.
I mean, now they got 20,000, 30,000 people at a golf tournament. I mean, for real. So, I mean, that's because they really legitimized it. They made it interesting.
So what you're saying is if they did a point system, it would encourage more bodybuilders to do more shows because you wouldn't necessarily have to win, but the more points you accumulate, the better your ranking will be as the year comes to an end when you come to the Olympia. And so what would you say, like a certain amount, like maybe the top 12 point getters would qualify for the Olympia?
Well, I mean, they could still, let's just say the whole you got to win a show thing works, but there's only like 8 guys that won shows, and then 4 more guys from the O in the Arnold lineup. So that's that's 12 guys right there. So they're happy with 12, then cool. But you should open it up to where the guys who didn't win the show, but they have X amount of points or over X amount of points, maybe you can add them to the show. You know what I'm saying? Because one way or another, somebody's getting left out.
Yeah.
Either they're not going to win a show and they're going to get second like 2 or 3 times, and you know what I'm saying? They would be deserving to go and won't be going.
Or maybe at the end of the year, you give away the top point earner, gets a special, championship prize, like, Super Series prize or something like that for, being the most consistent. Because because you win the Olympia doesn't mean you'd have the most points, because you might have someone else who outpoints you because they won the Arnold, they won the New York Pro, or, something like that.
Exactly. Well, yeah, and then I'm sure that some company would love to be the sponsor of that.
Right.
I mean, that would be a very prestigious award.
You're right.
So, that would be incredible.